Welcome back to the Unicorn channel. I just wanted to post this up because it's something that a lot of people have been saying to me over the last little while, particularly over since lockdown has started, and it's something that a lot of people seem to be struggling with. So I just wanted to put a little bit of a video to talk about it. So first, basically the thing that so many people have been struggling with or finding difficult is their ability to be creative. Okay, so my job is a creative job. I work in the arts, and so over the last, I don't know how many years, I've had to be creative from a work point of view, but that comes about by practice. So creativity is like a muscle, right? If you treat creativity like going to the gym, so if you buy your gym membership and you set your gym goal. So let's say you want to lose a stone and be able to run a mini marathon. I don't know. Okay, so you go to the gym, you buy a gym membership, and you go once for the first week, and you maybe go for the second week, and then you don't go for 3 months. In that 3 months time, you're not going to suddenly be able to run a marathon, right? So you need to be able to keep that consistency up. So you start a little bit, and then you do a little bit more, and then you do a little bit more, and then you do a little bit more, and you're gradually building up that fitness level, right? Creativity is exactly the same. So if we start practicing that creative muscle, we find that the creativity begins to flow more and more and more easily, and allows it, and we just open that floodgate up and just let it kind of flow. There are different barriers that might come in the way, but it's exactly the same as if you're going to the gym. Okay, so if you're doing a serious gym workout, you're doing like a really intense 3-month session, so much of that is mindset, because there's going to be times where you're not going to want to go, where you're not going to want to show up, that you're tired, or you're bored of the gym, or it's just getting too frustrating, or you're not seeing results fast enough, or you just really want to eat the entire shop full of chocolate because you just want to, right? But every time you do that, you're setting yourself back slightly, okay? So creativity is the same. When we consistently practice creativity, it can be absolutely anything. I'll give a couple of tips at the end of this as well. When we consistently practice creativity and show up for that creativity, regardless of whether or not we want to, we're consistently building that muscle. And some days are going to be tougher than others. You know, there's some days I direct shows with loads and loads of kids in them, actually, not at the moment, obviously. But there's so many times that I've woken up and I know that I have to be at a rehearsal with 50 people in it. Loads of kids, loads of grown-ups, from a producer, writer, and the theatre director, all those kind of things. I know there's going to be all these people there who are relying on me to be productive and creative that day. And I lie in bed and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do with them today? I know that there's certain scenes that I'm supposed to work out. I know that there's certain goals that I'm supposed to have accomplished by the end of that week, and certain things that are supposed to be achieved in terms of the production and the rehearsals. But sometimes I really just get so stuck, I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going. But I always show up. So when we show up and just do it, we create that habit of always just showing up, our creativity will always find a way, because we're constantly practicing that muscle. We're constantly building that muscle. Okay, so the more you practice it, the more easily it's going to flow. There are going to be difficult days, but show up for your creativity on those difficult days as well. Okay, so what so many people are struggling with right now is the ability to actually start anything creative, because they feel like their creative chakra is like blocked, and they feel like because their brains are so tired, and they can feel kind of foggy, and it can feel like you just don't have that creative ability in you, because you have so many other things in the world right now that we're worrying about. First of all, we're all feeling fog. Okay, so if you're not feeling fog, you're doing insanely well, and I'm insanely proud of you. But I don't know a single person who hasn't in some way, shape, or form psychologically felt the effects of what's happening in the world right now, okay? So everyone is feeling fog in some way, shape, or form. You are not alone in this, okay? You are absolutely not alone in this. We've all been there. We're all going through it, okay? It doesn't invalidate what you're feeling. What you're feeling is so valid. We're all feeling it. We all understand it. So allow yourself to feel it. And allow yourself to accept that you're feeling like that. Because when we try and block those things out, they just bang on the door harder, which makes more of a noise in our head, which means that we're not able to concentrate on what we actually want to do. If you think about it as you sit down to read a book, okay? And you're sitting in your sitting room and you're chilling and you're just reading this beautiful book and it's so beautiful and it's so powerful and you're just getting so into it, and someone knocks on the door and you're like, no, but I'm enjoying the book. I'm not gonna answer the door. And then they ring the doorbell. And they ring the doorbell again, and they ring the doorbell again, and then they start knocking harder and harder and harder, and then they start banging on the door, and they're banging and banging and banging on the door, and you're there like, no, I'm enjoying my book is amazing, I'm going to read the book. I mean, how much are you actually enjoying your book if you have that much racket going on beside you, right? So it's the same with our emotions. If we block them out, if we block out what we're feeling instead of accepting it, processing it, and letting ourselves move through it, if we block that out, they just hammer and hammer and hammer on that door until you open the freaking door. So first of all, if you are feeling in any way stuck creatively or productively or anything at all, allow yourself to check in with yourself. Allow yourself to think, okay, what am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling like this? Journal it out. Journaling helps tons, but check in with yourself. Open that door and allow yourself to feel it, even if you don't want to, even if it's the big green ugly scary monster at the door. Open that door, because you don't know how you're going to deal with it, or you won't process it unless you face it. Okay, so first thing, with that creativity that you're struggling with, check in with yourself and ask why. Allow yourself to process. And the second thing with creativity and with anything, absolutely anything, is just start. There is never a right time to start. There is never a right time to start, right? 4 years ago, I started a theatre company with one of my best friends. And at the time, I was suffering from extreme social anxiety. I was really doing really badly with depression. Being around people in any way, shape, or form just made me want to climb up and curl into a little dark hole and stay there and never come out again. It was difficult for me to leave the house. I was going through a really traumatic time in my life, but I just wanted to create a creative outlet. And I knew that by just thinking about it, it was never going to happen unless I took action on it. So there is never a right time to start anything or to do anything. So if you want to do something creative and you're like, oh no, I'm just not feeling right like it today, or oh, I don't know, I'm just not feeling creative, that is complete bullshit. Nobody ever feels creative. Those like bursts of creativity that you hear about in the movies, they're a pile of crap. Very occasionally we'll get them. Sometimes we'll just have a vision and it'll just happen. But creativity is a muscle. You don't wake up one morning after never exercising properly in your life and just decide that you're going to win a marathon. You might be able to finish the marathon. You know, you might end up in hospital because of it. But it's the same with creativity. You don't just wake up being, yes, today is a creative day. It's a muscle. You practice it every single day. There is never a good time to start. And that goes for everything in life. I am a strong believer in just do it now. If you were to die today, this is a very dramatic way of putting it. If you were to die today, will you die knowing that you've done everything today that you've wanted to do? Okay, that's how I look at it. I'm like, oh, if I put it off till tomorrow, I'm like, yeah, but what if I don't have it tomorrow? Just start the freaking creative process now. Okay, so just start. First of all, check in with yourself and see how you're feeling. Journal it out. And second of all, just start. Just do it. It can be doodling on a notepad. If you're journaling, that is creative. That's allowing the writing to flow. It's allowing the words to flow. If it's creating some sort of a graphic design on your iPad, just do it. Choose an image to work with and just go with it. Take out a sketch pad and just doodle ideas out if it's something visual that you're creating. If you want to write, take out a notebook and pen. This is a workshop that I do with so many of my, I do it with a lot of my kids, I do it with my grown-up groups. Take out a pen and a piece of paper, write one word, just the first word that comes into your head on the page. Do a mind map of that word, so just words that you think of. When you look at that word, what do you think of? So right, and you just mind map that word. Set yourself a timer for 5 minutes. You can start with 5 and gradually every day just bring it up, just build it up. So 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, and build up from there, okay? So as soon as you set your timer, you put your pen to paper, and you just write. You just look at those words, whatever inspiration you get from those words. They don't even have to have those words. It can go off in as many different crazy ways as possible. Let it go wherever you want it to go, but just start. Just do it. And you'll be surprised where your imagination goes. And it's just that daily practice, that consistent practice. Maybe it's like one day a week that you have like that's your creative day. And even if you don't actually create anything in that time, you're allowing that space to be your creative space. And that is so important. So allow yourself to feel things and just start there. There's no right time to start. And the third thing that I want to say about creativity, which I think is really important, it's something that I've been teaching with my kids an awful lot, even in my Zoom classes at the moment with all of my kids. I'm like, know this, okay? So there is no right or wrong way of being creative. There isn't. The only way you cannot be creative is to not do anything. Like sitting and lying in your bed all day and doing absolutely nothing and never moving, that's not creative. Unless there's a specific reason for it. But there is no right or wrong way of being creative. Nobody can tell you that you're wrong in your creativity. People cannot like it, because anything creative is just a matter of perception and opinion. So, you might look at art and be like, I don't think that's art, but like someone else might think it's art. Someone else might completely disagree with you. What you might look at and just think is a really dull canvas with a dot in the middle of it, other people pay millions for because it's so inspiring to them. So there's no right or wrong way of being creative or doing art and doing anything artistic. So just start. Don't judge yourself. Just allow yourself to be creative and just let it flow. Because when you let it flow, you're allowing your soul to flow out into whatever it is that you're creating. And there's something so beautiful in that. So someone asked me before for a YouTube video about my creative process. That's my creative process. I check in with myself and ask myself why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. I just do it. I just start. I let my habits guide me. When I don't feel like showing up for rehearsals because I'm just having a bad anxiety day, or I'm not prepared properly, or I just feel like I'm not going to be creative that day, I let my habits guide me because I show up anyway. I just do it. So just do it. And the third thing, there is no right or wrong way to be creative. So check when you're in with yourself, just start, and love and celebrate everything that you create, because everything that you create is creative. Have an amazing day. I hope that is helpful to someone somewhere. If anybody is struggling with creativity, please send this to them. It might help, it might not help. I would love to hear your thoughts on how you are creative. What do you do to tap into your creativity? How do you access that part of you that's creative? And how do you build on that muscle? Because I would love to hear from you guys and love to hear people's feedback on it. And sending you lots of love and unicorn sparkles to everybody. Sending lots of hugs to everybody who needs them. I'm sure a lot of people need hugs right now. So sending hugs to everybody. Have an amazing day, and I'll catch y'all later.